listening to the Construction Big Breakfast, where we give you a hearty serving of insider tips and business strategies to help fuel your day so you can thrive in the construction industry. Now, here's your host, Tip Top Tim Fitch.
Hi, and welcome to the latest episode of the Construction Big Breakfast. And I'm your host, as usual, Tip Top Tim Fitch. And you'll see today I'm welcome three of my colleagues who each represent a different region of our business. There's Brendan Morahan, who we're going to be talking about what's happening in Ireland over the past year and a little bit into the new year. Cameron Foley, who's going to be talking about the UK, and last but not least, Pritchard, who's going to cover what's happening in Canada. So, as everyone's well practiced, I'll ask the usual warm-up question. So, Brendan, what did you have for breakfast this morning?
And the usual answer, I had a lovely bowl of Flahavans porridge, mixed up and a sliced banana on top, washed down with an Americano. So always gets me going in the morning. I love it. Even have it the weekend. So that's my usual response to the usual question.
Thanks, Brendan. So, Cameron.
I had a traditional UK breakfast of fine English breakfast tea from my mug with my initial on it, and a bowl of cornflakes with semi-skim milk.
Shocking. Ben, that was good, please.
Well, no, I haven't had any breakfast yet, so I had some technical issues. My garage door fell off. So
you have your breakfast in the garage, do you?
I will have breakfast after this, and we'll see how I feel. I might push the boat out and scramble some eggs to spice things up for my day.
Okay, well, I'm sure you all want to know what I had. I had some 2 fried eggs and a couple of rashers of streaky bacon with some toast. So that's the formalities over with. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes. So, Cameron, just give us an overview of what you think, what's been the good and the bad of 2020 as far as Invent's concerned.
For the UK, we have had a busy year so far. Our financial year ends in March, so we're 3/4 of the way through our year. And I have to say, some of the real highs for me have been how well our team have moved from working in the office and moving across to actually working from home. And during this time, I mean, it's been very up and down for everyone. There's been highs generally for most people, but also some lows. So we've had lots of conversations with the team. This has been a great forum for everybody. So for those of you out there that don't know, we have a virtual breakfast every morning where the team just can come on with a cup of tea and just generally talk through about anything that isn't work, just to check in. But I have to say, I've been really impressed with everybody, how they've pushed through despite the what's going on in the world. I've been really impressed with it. The other thing that's held up reasonably well is the Wi-Fi. I know we all bash the Wi-Fi, but I have to say, generally, my hat's off to the providers out there. Very good, although it seems to happen to me, it always goes down when I've got something really important to say. So, and that doesn't happen that often, but it seems to happen every time.
We've got a button that just turns you off. I
did wonder, but yeah, and our clients as well. We've continued to serve our clients through the last 9 months, and again, there's mixed success with our clients as well. Some of them have been going through a very difficult time. A lot of staff on furlough, and we have in the last month or two seen some of those businesses start to pick up again, particularly in the sector that we work in the most, which is construction. That's continued to work through the pandemic, the last 9 months, and a lot of construction personnel have been, pushing forward, going to work, and really contributing into the UK economy. So that's just a little snapshot of where we are in the UK, Tim.
Yeah, thanks for that, Cameron. I mean, I have to say, I'll echo that. We're very, very impressed, pleased with the way that everyone's sort of been able to pivot the way they work from the tag end of March when we went into the original lockdown. Really, really tremendous. So, Brendan, how about?
I'll pick up on where we're going in Ireland, but I'd just like to add a couple of points actually from what Cameron said. I think what really struck me during the course of the year is we talk in our business about the culture, and we talk with our clients about developing a meaningful culture. And what really struck me was, and it sounds a bit twee, but there was a real feeling of family where generally people were looking out for each other. Cameron refers to this virtual breakfast, but during the course of the day, I'd be speaking to people and they'd be talking about phone calls they'd received from others, just generally looking out for each other. And that was excellent. And the other thing I think is typical of our team, and again, it helps in our discussions with our clients. We've got people that are voracious to keep on learning. They're curious about new things. And there's been a good program of both formal and informal learning that's gone on during the course of the year. And I think that's to their credit, and it's therefore makes us better people in the eyes of our clients as well. In Ireland, as you would expect, the culture in Ireland is very much about face-to-face, and therefore, whilst we don't have a team based in Ireland, we have associates that are working for us over there. A lot of the work at the moment is supported by our UK team, and so the lack of ability to travel has been difficult. We thought that was going to be a big impediment this year, but I'm very pleased to say that we've not only won work, but we've delivered work as well successfully over there. And one of the things that I think as a team we've been very successful in during the course of the year is embracing modern technology. So we've been active in a number of podcasts and webinars around the globe, but specifically in Ireland. And that seems to have been well received, to the point that people come to us over there now referring to us as experts in that. And it just shows that actually expertise is just knowing a little bit more than everyone else, and going back to that learning, it's always just making sure that you're keeping ahead of the curve a little bit so that you've got something meaningful to say. One other point, and I touched on it in our breakfast meeting this morning, is we never underestimate the value of just conversation. We've built this business on the back of reputation and conversation and learning about people. And I think that some of the conversations I've had during the course of the year have been quite meaningful. I think some of them have led to business, some of them will lead to business, but it's not all about business. It's also about just sharing experience and just making sure that we're helping each other through that. And I know some of the customers that I've been speaking with have certainly valued that, and equally I've gained something from them. And then the final point, I think that we've had a big push on our social media this front, and that's really helped, particularly because of the distant nature physically. The fact that in the last month, I think we've reported about 7.5 million impressions, and we've got about 15,000 followers. And that's so important now that we keep our brand and our message out there so that people know that we're always available whenever they need us.
That's a point well made, Brendan. I think one of the things before I bring Ben in, is that we have continued to develop our internal capability and processes and tweak things and innovate internally. Partly as the natural development of the business, but partly because we had no choice, because the restrictions that the epidemic had brought. So I spoke a few minutes ago around the pivot we've made in terms. Well, as Brendan alluded to, we've done exactly the same in marketing and sales. So, yeah, necessity is mother of invention. So everything now is virtual, online, and remote. And it's something that is the exact opposite of our sort of philosophy before March, where we wanted to do everything face to face. So we had no choice; we had to do that. So we've learned something. We've got a new way of working. It doesn't mean that once the restrictions are lifted that we will not go back in part to some of the older practices, which I think people were yearning for, the face-to-face, that I think it was the biochemist called the serotonin that wafts around us all when we're face-to-face, that helps build trust and things like that. We'll go back to some of that, but we're not going to. There's no totally turning back, is there? Because we've found a very efficient way of doing sales, marketing, delivery.
And just before you bring Ben in, actually, there's a good point there that at the beginning of the year, even before the pandemic had really hit, we developed a new digital and data strategy, and we recognised we didn't have the expertise in-house, so we appointed specialist partners to assist us in implementing this. So we've now pursued Cyber Essential accreditation. So it means not only can we make the pivot you refer to, Tim, we can do that in a safe environment, both from our team's point of view and our client's point of view. So part strategy, part luck, I'd have to say, like all good things in life.
I echo that. We certainly, I don't remember having pandemic as a systemic risk for the business, but of course the measures we've taken for other issues, like floods and what have you, and been able to work remotely, which is one of the strands of our strategy, paid off. So you're right, it was the right strategy, but hadn't recognised this particular risk, but it covered it anyway.
Yeah.
So Canada.
I think you know, a lot of the sort of the strengths and weaknesses of the year have been covered sort of already, but I think in some ways there was a bigger emphasis on some of them in Canada because it's just so far away. So not only do you have that sort of lack of ability to be face to face, but you also have up to 8 hours time difference as well. So it just makes sort of scheduling that much more difficult. It makes it very sort of difficult to find an opportune time to make some of these calls. But I think, you know, like you were saying, Tim, you know, it's given us a real opportunity to change the way and create new ways of engaging with people. Some subtle, some more of a sledgehammer, but all of them sort of designed with sort of a reason in mind and an approach and a journey for our existing clients and our prospects on how to sort of get them to learn more about us, learn more about sort of Shred and all the other things that we have on offer. And although, you know, for understandable reasons, you know, the first 6 months were very quiet, but things are starting to unlock. There's sort of a, you know, light at the end of the tunnel, as it were, of sort of what everyone is hoping is some sort of boom, because construction will become so important to the economy, because it's an easy way to fast sort of start everything, isn't it? You know, just being able to invest in infrastructure will become sort of incredibly important globally over the next few years. So I think we as an industry, like sort of us, and we know it true from what we've seen of our clients, a lot have taken this time to sort of look at themselves a little bit and see, well, what can we do to come out of this stronger? How can we be more resilient and more able to adapt to sort of future risks, future requirements, and be ready to go quick and go hard when sort of the economy opens up. So sort of, you know, optimistically excited about what's to come as well, not just for us, but for sort of construction on a wider perspective.
No, I echo that. I would just echo what you said about Canada. I mean, for us, we've learned how to deal with that territory remotely because we had no choice, and we had to go there since March. I think the other thing, that one of the positives, if there's such a thing, out of the whole epidemic is that the adoption, this particular technology that we're using to record this podcast, has been universal, regardless of where the other person might be in any of the areas of the world that we're working. It's been fairly easy to arrange a video call since March, whereas before it just wasn't an acceptable way in many places to do business. And I don't think that will be wound back completely, because people recognise that it's an extremely efficient way of if you want an hour's meeting, it takes an hour and 2 minutes, a little minute each end to fire the machine up. But it's so efficient. Really, as Ben alluded to, in Canada, that the first 4 or 5 months of the pandemic made it extremely difficult. I'll speak candidly about our own business. We focused on the UK because that's where most of our employees are, to make sure that that was going to survive, and it has done. Fortunately, we had a reasonable amount of work in Canada, but in terms of marketing, the focus was on the UK. We've now balanced ourselves up, and we've done a lot in the last probably 3 months in Canada to reinvigorate the front end of that business. And I'm pleased to say that we've got a new member of staff starting in Canada on the 4th of January, and he'll be guesting shortly thereafter. We'll introduce him to the world. But we've managed to, this is a staff member that we've never met. So the whole recruitment process has been done remotely, which is a very strange thing. And it's the first for us. I'm sure people out there, you will have done the same thing if you needed new staff. But, so we've got a new person starting in Canada on the 4th of Jan, which is really exciting, and that will be the launch pad for that growth which we're optimistically expecting to have, as been mentioned. So that's all good. Now, of course, we're just for everyone's benefit, we're recording this the day after the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine started. So this is the 9th of December. Of course, COVID is not the only issue we have in the UK, because the other one is Brexit, and we're on the final twists and turns of the negotiation. We either end up with some form of deal or we don't. That's going to, I think today's supposed to be the day, but no doubt it won't be, the 9th of December.
Boris is off for dinner, isn't he?
He's gone for dinner
today. Yeah.
I hope he's turning the charm knob up to 11, and that between them that they can come up with something that both sides can live with. In these situations, there's going to be no absolute winner. It's whether we can come up with a compromise that's a partial win for everybody. Yeah, I'm touching wood as I say that. Let's hope it happens. So, however, next year is a new year, so we've got, just to set the context, that in the UK, and I'm sure the rest of the world will follow suit soon, we're rolling out the vaccine. Let's hope that if it doesn't completely get rid of the virus, we can learn to live with it without all of the restrictions we're currently living under. So what's the view round, I was going to say round the table, on what 2021 is going to look and feel like for everybody?
Well, I'll kick off. I think as you speak to people, I think there are obviously it's an emotional curve that people have been on between denial and disaster, frankly. But I think there is an emerging realization that actually this is, and I think the term was used earlier probably by you, Ben, it's about the survival of the fittest. And you know, business, like nature, has a means of sorting out wheat from chaff. And the people I speak to fall into two camps. One is sort of the doom and gloom and the problem is out there. And others that are saying, right, well, this is now the opportunity. This is the chance for us to really push on, check the weaknesses in our business and sort them out, and really exploit the strengths. And I see, speaking on the client side of the industry, I can see that they are getting nervous about the lack of resilience within the supply chain. And I just hope and pray that clients are actually going to now understand the true meaning of value, and that the supply side is going to reciprocate by offering value, because too many people I still don't think realize the value they bring. And when they stop to think about it, some of them realize they're not bringing any value. And therefore, I hope they will decide either to do something different, i.e. get out of the industry, or do something within the industry that sets them apart from the competition, so they are responding to that emerging need from the clients. Now, government, as we've seen during the course of this year, will back a proposition if it's meaningful. There are some organisations in this industry that have really stepped up and have been supported socially and financially for actually putting their money where their mouth is and being strong and brave and pushing forward. And I just hope that this year will be the year that people look back and say, that was the start of a transformation in this industry, where people can really make a difference if they're contributing a difference. So I'm actually quite confident. You know, I think the conversations that I'm having now are very different to the conversations I had 12 months ago.
I think it's been 12 months where, and it would be interesting whether this would have happened if it wasn't sort of for the burning platform that the pandemic created in many ways. But, you know, yesterday the construction playbook came out. Over the last couple of months, there's been a lot of conversation about the value toolkit that the Innovation Hub is developing. There are lots of tools that are trying to create a framework and a language of value that is understood by all. And I think that's often where there's been an issue, that, like you say, people just don't realise they do it, understand they do it, and understand how to talk about it, how to sort of just really sort of put a figure or a description on that value and what that means. What will be sort of what the industry is not very good at, generally speaking, with so many of these things, you know, Egan Latham, all of the reports over the years, there's been good, very big clients that have done it, but we're quite bad at seeing that actually it is applicable to all parts of the industry. We sort of try and make things too difficult at times to roll out. So it is only your, you know, T5s, Olympics and the stuff that truly grasp it, because everyone else thinks it's not for me, it's for the big boys. But hopefully these new things can be about more than that this time round.
Thanks, Ben. Cameron, got any view?
Yeah, I'm certainly a lot more optimistic about 2021. I think that the way that our industry, our customers, ourselves, we've adapted, we've adopted new ways of working, new technology. I'd like to see that continuing. I think that will grow in many different directions. We will continue to be resilient, and we will continue to provide services into our customers. Our customers will provide services into UK PLC and around the globe. And with the vaccine started, certainly here in the UK, I think things will start to settle down, and I'd like to see that industry comes back with a bang.
Thanks for that, Cameron. I mean, well, everyone knows what I'm like. I'm pretty confident there's going to be the most massive boom next year. And I think if you're in the office fit out market, it's going to be a gold rush. There's pent up demand. There's need to reconfigure offices because there's going to be a new way of working. We're trying to work it out ourselves, what that's going to look like, the new normal. I mean, this is the current normal, but I don't think anyone thinks working from home is completely sustainable or desirable. So how do we use offices and what have you? We've done podcasts on this already. Go and have a look at the Andy Allen one. But I'm very, very positive, both here and Canada and Ireland. I think it's going to be great for construction. Construction gets knocked a lot, often justifiably, but what it's great at on the macro level is creating jobs very fast. It's a great way to get the economy going And the other thing that it never really gets benefit from it is brilliant for social mobility. Just look at me. So on that note, now ordinarily we do I'd sort of close all this down and say see you on the next podcast. But what we're going to be joined shortly by the rest of our team for some Christmas messages. So until then, I'll just say see you on the Christmas message.
Okay, well, look, to all my family, friends, associates and customers in Ireland, I would just like to say Nolig Hana Dio.
Hey. Happy Christmas, everyone. Have a safe and happy holiday, and good luck in 2021.
Guys, happy Christmas from the Fitches in the UK.
Happy Christmas.
To everyone around the world, Nadolig Llawen a blwyddyn newydd dda.
Happy Christmas from South London.
Happy holidays from East London. In Arabic we say Eid Milad Majid wa Hayat Saeede.
എല്ലാവർക്കും സ്നേഹം നിറഞ്ഞ ക്രിസ്മസ് ആശംസകൾ. Here is wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from London to Beirut to the world.
Wish you many happy Christmas and Merry Christmas. Natalcha khub khub shubhecha. That's in Marathi how we wish.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Joyous Noel from Canada, Vancouver, Canada, spreading all around the world. Hope you have a wonderful New Year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from South London.
Okay, Merry Christmas, everyone. In Mandarin, we say 圣诞快乐.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays for everyone all over the world from Toronto, Canada.
Merry Christmas, everyone from the West family in Toronto. Stay safe and have a good New Year.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and happy Hogmanay to all friends, family, customers across the globe. Very wishing you best 2021. Okay.
Bye.
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 Come to Invennt for the highest R&D tax credit you can claim. We help construction businesses get back millions in tax credits every year. Contact us today for a free review. Thanks for joining us this week on the Construction Big Breakfast. Make sure to visit our website, www.invennt.com, where you can subscribe to the Construction Big Breakfast on all platforms so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a positive rating. Or if you'd simply share it with a friend, that would help us out too. Be sure to tune in for our next episode.